The Theater at the Center in Munster, Indiana presents comedian Jeannie Rapstad as she performs characters Gladys Stumpf, Dinah, Jeannie and Marmalade, and last but not least, Jeannie's appearance on The Dating Game from 1979.
Thank you all for coming. You said you'd come, and you did. Thank you so much. I am delighted to be a part of the inaugural month of the reopening of the Theater at the Center. Our region needs this theater. Don't you say? We do. I'd like you just shout out where you're from, because I know all across the region we have missed this theater. So just shout out, Hammond! Well, I think the farthest away I heard was Fort Wayne. Oh, Indianapolis? Well, I think that's farther. Congratulations, you've won our prize. Yes, the prize is a round trip to Acapulco at your own expense. Stay wherever you want, as long as you want, spend as much money as you want, have yourself a good time. All right, so what I'm going to present for you today are 4 sketches from my trademarked show, Jeannie Rapstad Presents Comic Sketches. And the first sketch is about Gladys Stumpf. Gladys is 85 years old. She's looking for a date on Valentine's Day. And the 4th sketch is, as Phil mentioned, Jeannie Rapstad getting a date on The Dating Game in 1979. The second sketch is about Dinah and Shelby's love story. And the 3rd sketch is about the love of a cat. So I'm going to be changing clothes as we go through the show, but don't get upset, okay? I'm not going to have on any less than I have now. The first row is saying, thank you. Back in my stand-up comedy days in LA, I was doing all the open mic nights, and I finally got a gig. It was a half-hour show every Tuesday night at a place called the Natural Fudge Company on Melrose Boulevard in Hollywood. And all of a sudden, I went from doing 5-minute open mic nights to having to come up with a half-hour show. The very first character I wrote for my show is Gladys Stumpf. Now, Gladys has traveled with me all these years. In the early 90s, I entered her into a competition, and she went all the way to region, so she did pretty well. So Gladys has always been a part of my show, and you're going to like her. Isn't it amazing? I'm transforming from this gorgeous sort of middle-aged person into this, I mean, it's really seriously great. You're sitting there in wonder going, how does she do this? It's just amazing. Okay. Here we go. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Gladys Stumpf. That young fella, Phil Patempa, asked me if I would come here today and talk to you folks about geriatric dating. Now, I don't know what you ever did to him, but here I am. Well, it all started back in January. I was sitting on my sofa, eating a chocolate zinger, drinking a Diet Pepsi, and watching a rerun of the Golden Girls on TV. In this episode, Sophia, you know, she's the old lady on the show. Well, she had gotten herself a date, and he was a fine-looking man, too. Kind of a cross between Cary Grant and Grandpa Walton. I said, if she can get herself a date, so can I. So I set out to get myself a date for Valentine's Day. Now, at my age, getting a date is not as easy as it sounds. I realize there are plenty of fish in the sea, but the fact is, my bait is not what it used to be. My body has fallen into a gravity cavity. I used to have an hourglass figure. Now all of the sand keeps settling at the bottom. I used to be a 38D. Now I'm more of a 44 long. I'm not much for dieting, I get that from my mother, because when I was a child, there were only 2 things on my mama's menu. Take it or leave it. That's pretty much how I am today. I don't worry about saturated fat. I don't worry about unsaturated fat. I just eat what I want, and then I let the Lipitor fight it out. I firmly believe that if you are in good health, not even a double cheeseburger can kill you. Well, I thought, if I'm going on a date, I should probably get a new dress. So I went to Macy's. And I told the clerk that I wanted a dress for a date. And she said, well, I think this dress will do you justice. I said, honey, I'm not interested in justice. I want mercy. Well, I bought the dress, and then I started going about, how should I get a date? You see, I'm a widow. My husband, Charles, passed away some years ago. Oh, it's okay, honey. He didn't die of anything serious. Charles was a kind but lazy man. His mama told me he was 5 years old before he learned how to wave bye-bye. And when he was young, his folks moved around a lot, but he always found them. Slow but sure, that was Charles. He was not the brightest light on the porch, more like a 25-watt bulb on a dimmer. Of course, when we got married, he didn't know nothing, so I had to send him to a doctor. The doctor said, Charles, do you and your wife have mutual climax? He said, no, we're with State Farm. Now you can see what I was up against. Every time we went to a nice restaurant and the hostess would say, sir, do you have reservations? Charles would always answer, yes, we do, but we're going to eat here anyway. I said, Charles, why do you always have to show your ignorance? He said, well, what's the use of having something if you can't show it? That was Charles. But it's like I always say, it's better to have loved your husband than to have never loved at all. Well, I went looking for a date, and I thought I found one too. The cable guy came to fix my TV. He was knocking on my door, pounding on my door. He made so much noise, I finally did have to let him out. Do you know that Comcast almost canceled my subscription over that? But he gave me an idea. So I decided to sign up for eharmony.com. Now, I know what you're thinking. You are thinking that the internet can be a very scary place. Tell me about it. I swear I'll never go on eBay drunk again. Well, I emailed my photo and I wrote out my ad. It said, widow seeks 75-year-old stud for fun and romance. Viagra patients welcome. You know that eHarmony sent back my photo with a note that said, we're not that lonely. Then one day I went to the senior center and I found myself a date. We had dinner together on Valentine's Day, and we have been dating ever since. So in closing, I would just like to say, at last, I have found the perfect date. I could not ask for more. He's deaf and dumb and oversexed, and he owns a liquor store. That's what I know about geriatric dating. The next sketch is all about love and marriage, love and marriage. And this is our Southern belle, Dinah. Oops. A very clever person buttoned this. Wrong thing to do. Here we go. I've got it now. Okay, I have this beautiful blonde wig that is going to immediately transport me into a Southern belle. You just watch. Now, I have to use this little mirror to straighten it all out because one time I put it on upside down. It wasn't nearly as funny as you might think. My name is Dinah, and this is the love story of Dinah and Shelby. My husband once said that he thought I married him because his daddy left him some money. I said, Shelby, honey, don't be silly. I'd have married you no matter who left you that money. We've been married for 30 years. Altogether, it's been the most glorious 2.5 days of my life. We met at Christmas time. I was working the lunch counter at my family's restaurant. He got my attention by blowing straw wrappers at me as I walked by. We fell in love right there in the lobby of my parents' restaurant, right next to the artificial Christmas tree, in front of the cardboard fireplace, underneath the plastic mistletoe, right by that giant styrofoam snowman. Playing on the muzak was that holiday classic, Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. I tell you, it had all the glamour of the season. Well, I know that I can fall in love quickly, and this can scare some guys away. It happened to me once before. I told this other man, I'm in love with you. I want to marry you. And he looked at me and he said, look, lady, just give me the $10 for the pizza. I'll be on my way. But with Shelby, it was different. It was true love. From the beginning, Shelby wanted me to know who was boss. Right after the ceremony, he looked me in the eye and he said, you're the boss. I said, Shelby, what do you like the most about me? Is it my pretty face or my sexy body? He said, I think it's your sense of humor. I declare at that exact moment, I felt like how Pepe Le Pew must have felt when he looked in the dictionary and found out what pew meant. But in the beginning, Shelby could be very romantic. He was always taking me to nice restaurants. Once he was reading the menu and he looked at me and said, I think I'm in the mood for a quickie. I said, Shelby, I believe that's pronounced quiche. During the course of my marriage, I have not been the best housekeeper. They say housework can't kill you, but I say, why take the chance? I've not been the best cook. My recipe book consists of the telephone numbers of all the restaurants in my area that deliver. I've got Grubhub on speed dial. My cooking was so bad, the flies got together, pitched in, and fixed the hole in the screen door. Oh, well, I never wanted to be known as a homemaker or a housewife because I prefer the term domestic goddess. Yeah, well, Shelby and I have had our ups and downs over the years. You know, one time I asked him, are you a man or a mouse? He said, I'm a man, because if I was a mouse, you'd be afraid of me. Well, poor Shelby. I knew my marriage was in trouble when he started introducing me as his first wife. After 10 years of marriage, the secret to a happy marriage remained a secret. I took Shelby to Hawaii to celebrate our 10th wedding anniversary. On our 20th anniversary, I went back and picked him up. Upon returning home, I decided to take all of the lemons life had given me, added some tequila and salt, and made myself a margarita. We were sitting on the sofa, and I said, "I love you." Shelby said, "Is that you or the liquor talking?" I said, "It's me talking to the liquor." There is always something good to be found in a marriage if you just take the time to look for it. If you stumble, make it part of the dance. Love doesn't make the world go around, but it makes the ride worthwhile. The 5 most important words for a healthy, vital marriage are, "I apologize, you were right." Shelby and I are doing fine. Right now, he's down on Lover's Lane holding his own hand. He calls it jogging. I call it running around. But he'll be back later to take me out to supper because it's coupon night at Fernando's Fajita Hideaway. We never miss that. But in closing, I would just like to quote the words of the 4 Tops and tell Shelby, "Sugar pie, honey bunch, you know that I love you. I can't help myself. I love you and nobody else." And the words of the Orleans, "You're still the one that makes me laugh, still the one that's my better half. We're still having fun 'cause you're still the one." Ladies and gentlemen, marriage is a wonderful thing. It gives you the opportunity to find that one special someone that you can annoy for the rest of your life. Hugs and kisses, hugs and kisses. This is my cat, Marmalade the Great. He's 13 pounds of fluffy, furry fun. He's up for adoption. Marmalade is a great cat. The reason why I'm putting him up for adoption is because I am tired of being covered in his 13 pounds of fluffy fur. From head to toe, I am nothing but a cat-haired covered version of my former self. I have to buy the extra sticky pet roller 4-pack every couple of weeks. His hair is all over my clothes. Well, look at this. It's all over my clothes, my bedding, I tell you, he shed so much, I ask myself, why isn't he bald? Uh-oh. Wait a second now. If you were to, adopt Marmalade, I'm sure that he wouldn't shed at your house. No. Well, not enough adoption fee? Well, maybe if I gave up my Tuesday morning McDonald's Egg McMuffin and mango pineapple smoothie, I could raise the adoption fee up another $7 to a total of $57. Marmalade is a healthy and energetic cat. He likes to jump up on my kitchen counters, and then he vaults himself up to the top of my kitchen cabinets, and he travels along until he's in front of my barista table, and when he's in just the right position, he takes an aerial leap and lands just inches away from my dinner plate. Now that is a precision landing. Uh-oh. Wait a second now. If you adopted Marmalade, he wouldn't do that at your house. No. I admit it's kind of heart-stopping at first, but you'll get used to it. Need more money? Well, I guess I could give up my Wednesday morning breakfast Baconator and Frosty Chino from Wendy's. That would raise the fee up another $7 to a total of maybe $64. Marmalade is a very loving cat. He likes to sleep on my head, mostly in the winter, or if I'm running the air conditioner. It does keep my head warm. But he's not going to do that at your house. No. Anyway, he only swings his tail across my nose half the night. You get used to it. More money. Well, maybe if I gave up my Thursday morning egg-normous breakfast burrito and mellow yellow caffeine high soda from Burger King, I could raise the fee up another $7 to a total of $74. You know, Marmalade likes to keep his nails neat and trim. That's why he occasionally scratches my furniture to shreds every single day. I yell at him, "Stop!" He looks at me like, "What? You don't want me to shred the furniture? When did that start?" I am politely screaming. The first day. It started the very first day. He looks at me as if to say, "You are not my real mother." But you know, Marmalade's not going to do that at your house. No. Besides, it's a new trend in home decor. It's called urban shred. Now your ripped sofa can match your ripped jeans. You'll get used to it. Well, maybe I could sweeten the pot by, on Friday when I get paid, I could treat you to an upgrade. You know, I'm fancy like Applebee's on date night with that Bourbon Street steak and the Oreo shake with the whipped cream on the top two. 2 straws, 1 check, girl, I got you. Bougie like magic on the styrofoam. Ooh. I got carried away, so sorry, back to business. Now, that will raise the fee up another couple of bucks to $100. Still no takers? Well, you guys drive a hard bargain. Look at this little face. Aw, just look at him. Who wouldn't want a profusely shedding, feline aerial acrobat, head sleeping, chair shredding, 13 pounds of fluffy furry fun? Me, I reckon. Oh, I can't put him up for adoption. Oh, he's so... No, I'm going to have to keep him. Sorry, folks. But there's just one question, one lingering question. With the way that he sheds, why isn't he bald? Oh, look at this. Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, we talked about at the beginning of the show that on a Tuesday night in March of 1979, I was a contestant on the TV show The Dating Game. What follows here is I'm going to show you a little clip of the show, and then I'm going to present a tall tale that I wrote about the day after the broadcast in 2014, 35 years later. So the thing about The Dating Game is, I'm going to go back in some time here. I was a young actress in Hollywood. I was a member of the Screen Actors Guild. I was looking for work. There was a notice in the trade publication Variety that the TV show, The Dating Game, was looking for contestants. They were paying $385, which was the day rate at the time. And that was a lot of money for a struggling actress. I decided I'd go to the audition. Now, I had an internal struggle about this because I thought it was a stupid show. And I felt that I was a serious actress. And I wanted to know, I asked myself, do you want to do this kind of work? Then I thought, well, you know, it pays $385, they give me some prizes and a trip. If I don't tell anybody that I was on the show, nobody I know will see me. That was my thinking. Well, the storyline is a bachelorette, me, asks questions of 3 bachelors that are behind a screen. Then she chooses a bachelor, and the show sends them on a chaperone trip somewhere. So the show said, play Peppy. So I played Peppy, and they gave me some questions, and then I got cast. Was on the show, chose bachelor number 2. Well, the time came for the show to air. It was so deeply stupid. Well, we're going to run the clip right now. You can see for yourself.
And here she is. This fun-loving bachelorette is currently employed as a typist, but is set on making her mark as a stand-up comedian. She's into roller skating, playing the piano, and listening to Neil Diamond's records. Here's the sensational Jeannie Rapstad. Hey, I agree with you. Neil Diamond's great. He turns you on? Well, Neil Diamond turns you on. I hope one of our bachelors turns you on, because one of them's going to be your date. You know that.
Yeah, far out.
And they don't have any names. I know, that's far. It'd be even far out if you had all 3 of them for a date, but only one is going to be your date.
Bachelor number 3. I'm a comic, and I'd like to know why you think there aren't more female comedians around.
Probably because they're not funny. You've got to really be funny in this business. But if you're good looking and you're funny, you're going to have it. There's no problem at all.
What is the funniest thing that a girl has ever said about your chest when she was sober?
That there wasn't enough hair on it. There's some, but there just wasn't enough for her.
How many? 1, 2? No.
I would say maybe 100, 200.
Well, that sounds like a lot. That sounds interesting. That's
All right, that's it, Jeannie. Great job. Now stay right there. We'll be right back. And Jeannie's going to choose her far-out date in just a moment. And we'll have that decision for you right after these good words.
And now back to Jim Lang.
Thank you, Johnny. All right, Jeannie, we've reached that magic moment of truth finally, and now you're going to have to tell it. Before we do, give me a little giggle. Oh, that's so cute. All right, you're going to have to tell us which one of those bachelors you have chosen for your date, and your decision, of course, is final. I know you thought about this, so here we go. Which one will it be? Will it be bachelor number 1, bachelor number 2, or bachelor number 3? Who's that lucky fellow?
Bachelor number 2.
Number 2, all right. Here he is, Arnie Lutz. Arnie, come on and say hello, please. Oh. All right. Congratulations, Arnie. You did it. With your optimistic attitude, huh? Well, Jeannie and Arnie, if I had the pipes of old Blue Eyes, you know, Frank Sinatra, I'd sing a couple of choruses of Luck Be a Lady, but I don't, so I won't. I'm simply going to say that Lady Luck is going to shine down on the 2 of you when you hit that town the world knows as Las Vegas, Nevada. Bye for now, and I hope you always get the date you really want. Ready to show a kiss? Come on, let's fire. Here we go.
Well, you can see why I didn't choose bachelor number 3. I mean, talk about shooting yourself in the foot. I guess he didn't want to go on a date with me. But, well, you saw it. It was silly. I was embarrassed. I'm watching this and I'm going, oh my gosh. I'm talking about the hair on a guy's chest. Please. I don't know. I thought, well, I didn't tell a single person that I was on this show, so I'm probably going to get away with this. So the next day I go into work as usual. I almost forgot about it. But I'm met at the door by the office gossip, Elizabeth. She says, my brother said that he saw you on the dating game last night. I panicked. I thought, oh no, she's going to tell everybody. I'm going to have to nip this in the bud. So I said, no, that wasn't me, Elizabeth. I've never been on the dating game. He said it was you. He said you wore your black dress with the flowers. I said, Elizabeth, he's just pulling your leg. A little while later, I go creeping down to her office. She's on the telephone with her brother. Pretty soon she comes to me and she says, he said it was you. He said they announced your name and everything. Elizabeth starts grilling me like a hamburger. Well, by this time I am lying so much, I'm almost struck down by lightning. So I did only thing I could do. I gave her another line. It wasn't me, Elizabeth. A couple of minutes later, she comes. I called the TV station. They said it was you! Elizabeth, I don't know who you talked to over there, but it wasn't me. It was the longest working day of my life. All day, people kept stopping by my office to say, I heard you were on the dating game last night. I continue lying. It wasn't me, it wasn't me, it wasn't me, it wasn't me. By this time, I'm practically doing an imitation of Pinocchio's sister. By 4 o'clock, my boss comes and says, Elizabeth tells me that you were on the dating game last night. And for some reason, you're lying about it. Oh no. I managed to eke out one more. It wasn't me. I left that day like I had been shot out of a cannon. Moral of this story is, don't lie to people named Elizabeth. There's just no percentage in it. Thank you very much. Thank you again for coming. It's a delight to have you here. Thank you so much. I just want to have a little postscript. I've done this many times, and several people have come up to me over the years and said, we have somebody at our office just like Elizabeth. I'm still praying for you.